So I'm Josh Kriegman,
I'm Elyse Steinberg.
and we directed Weiner.
Why are they filming you?
I don't know. I most of the time I don't know why they're filming.
Are you somebody I'm supposed to know?
So I met Anthony when actually working in politics. I was his chief of staff for a couple of years when he was in Congress. And then I left political work and started working in filmmaking with Elyse. And it was after Anthony had his scandal and resigned from Congress that I started this conversation with him about the possibility of making a documentary. And that was really a conversation that went on over the course of a couple of years, actually, going back and forth with him, trying to figure out if it would be something that he would be comfortable with and would want us to do. And then it was on the day that he announced he was running for mayor of New York City in this effort to get back into politics that he finally agreed to let us film him. And as you see in the film, we started filming on the day he announced he was running to the end of the campaign.
It was an absolute pleasure to see a Democrat not cowering.
Married to one of Hillary Clinton's closest advisors.
You never back down from anybody.
Well, I think, this question about why did he allow us to film, that was a question that we at one point wondered ourselves, and we knew the audience was wondering, and that's why we posed it in our film. And Anthony at the very end answers it when he says that he wanted to be viewed as the full person that he was instead of a punchline. And that was our intention with the film, to take somebody who had just been ridiculed and reduced to a caricature and offer a more complicated and nuanced look. And in terms of Huma, she was also judged and ridiculed, and in some ways even more, being a woman at the center of a political scandal. And I think, while I can't speak for her, I do think that she shared some of Anthony's desire of wanting a more fair and complete story told. She's obviously more quiet and reserved than him, but I think, she wanted a different version than the one that was playing out in the tabloids.
The punchline is true about me. I did the dumb thing, but I did a lot of good things too. Running for mayor was the straightest line to clean up the mess that I had made.
This is Anthony Weiner calling. Yes, I'm not Anthony Weiner, the one running for mayor.
Why do you think you deserve the second chance?
They were being just ridiculed and reduced to caricatures and punchlines and sound bites. And in our film, you get 95 minutes to spend with them and see a different side that you don't usually get to see.
It was a really great collaboration. I mean, I did the bulk of the shooting, so it was really 4 months all day, every day, primarily just me with a camera by myself, by Anthony's side, following him through all the ups and downs and twists and turns of this crazy election as it was unfolding. And then Elyse and I were in touch throughout, so we were constantly talking throughout the day about what was happening, thinking about story, thinking about various challenges of production. And there were a couple days then also where it was clear that we might want another camera, like Election Day, for example, where Elyse was on the ground with another camera person. And so that was the production process was worked like that, basically.
Yeah.
And it was really, actually quite wonderful to have, I'm obviously very close to the subject. I've known Anthony for a long time. Shooting all the footage, it's very, very close to what we captured, and Elyse had a distance that I think was really helpful for the project.
Yeah, I mean, not knowing Anthony, I think I was able to be much like the audience in terms of my expectation and experience and how I looked at it. And then so we were able to talk about that, having a distance is good in terms of perspective. And then also when we had our editor, we have an amazingly talented editor, Eli Dupre. He came in and he offered that other level of distance. But then, we could all work together because Josh knew the material, Josh knew Anthony, and we could, take what Josh's experience was on the ground and craft a story together.
And after we finished filming, then we had quite a while actually to go through the footage, to watch it all, to figure out what we had. We sort of expanded our team a little bit. We brought on Motto Pictures, who is an extraordinarily talented team, and they helped us think through some story challenges. And then we brought on a couple assistant editors and associate producers to help us go through the footage. And then it was about 9 months or so full-time editing with Eli. Well, when we started filming, it was one of those situations which I think is often the case with documentaries. Is we knew that he was an amazingly interesting person in a very interesting situation, but we had no idea how it was going to unfold. And I think the whole world watching really had no idea. He was just a couple years removed from this very disgraceful, fairly unprecedented scandal. And a lot of people sort of thought of him as a joke and counted him out and thought there's no way that he could possibly, so soon be back in politics and taken seriously. But, as you see in the film, within 6 weeks or so, he very quickly rose to the top of the polls as defying expectations, and a lot of people were sort of shocked. And there we were, as filmmakers in the middle of it all, thinking at first we might be capturing one of the more remarkable comeback stories in American political history. But then, of course, these new revelations about his past sexting behavior came out, and the campaign went in a very different direction, and we stayed with the story.
Don't push up, Anthony. Show it to me again. Oh my God.
I can't believe I gave the press the finger.
Well, Josh and I we're really excited about doing a character-driven Verite documentary. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to have a Verite experience with the film, and because we shot 400 hours of footage, and we knew that was possible, to really just be following Anthony and the campaign as the events unfolded, and not having experts come in or doing sit-down interviews with a lot of people, just to be with the story as it's unfolding. But then we did do one interview with Anthony after, but it was a choice that we made that we felt just was a creative one that we wanted to have audiences have that sort of more, that visceral experience.
Yeah, so they haven't seen it as far as we know. We actually offered to show it to them many months ago before the film was even finished, and they declined to see it, and they haven't wanted to see it since. Anthony has said that he's not eager to relive it, which is something that we can certainly respect. And we'll, I'm sure they'll see it at some point, and we'll see what they think.
Well, I think, one thing, and I know, is just sticking with things and just sticking with it despite things not necessarily going your way, even when it feels hard. I mean, we worked on this for 3 years. Getting funding was a challenge. Deciding to just, dig in for that long of a period. And I think you just have to believe in your film and believe in your work. And stick with it, and know that it's going to be a long commitment when you get into it, especially in the beginning. And choose people to work with that you like. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's perseverance, I think, is kind of the key to a lot of these projects. Having a willingness to stay with it, even through there's always these sort of hard points in the course of filmmaking that are challenging. And then the only other piece of advice I'd say is to put yourself in the middle of a worldwide news story right before it breaks.
Let me just be brutally honest with you. There's no chance to win anymore.
Thought it was going pretty well.
It's really apocalyptic right now.
But at a certain point, you've got to say, look, I don't quit.
This is the worst. Doing a documentary on my scandal. Hi.